farming and industrial equipment, machinery for food processing, including meat processing and fruit processing. So I guess let me go through the rest of this. Machinery for making paper, cardboard, and other paper products. Oh, that's interesting. Again, look. The Americans put a tax on Chinese machinery for making paper and cardboard. And then Canada puts a tax on American cardboard. So again, the American cardboard industry is getting screwed on both sides. The machinery it needs is getting taxed. And then the products going to Canada is also getting taxed. I mean, this can't be a coincidence, right? This basically means that Canada and China are coordinating their tariffs, right? And, like, see, this is the problem when you declare a trade war with literally everybody else. Is that they can then work together to screw you. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Parts of printers and copy machines, machinery for processing and molding metal or cements, machinery for making glass products, including light bulbs, machinery for making rubber or plastic goods, ball bearings, DC and AC generators of various size and power levels, electricity transformers, industrial magnets. I shouldn't go up anymore here. Lithium batteries and other batteries, industrial ovens and furnaces, radar and radio equipment. Okay, I understand the logic of this list. This is all basically industrial stuff. And if you are a right-wing, vaguely fascist kind of guy, you wanna... This is basically dual-use technology for military, right? So it's like there's the same amount of the same kind of stuff you use to manufacture civilian goods is also the same kind of stuff you use to manufacture like tanks and guns. So this is trying to salvage the American industrial capacity by not relying on Chinese machinery, which there is kind of a logic to this. Parts for televisions, radio recording equipment, and similar video products. Electronic traffic signs. Electronic traffic signs. Electrical equipment such as resistors, circuit breakers, and similar. LEDs. Trains and rail parts. Trains and rail parts. Large vehicles using both diesel and non-diesel fuel. Wait a minute. What kind of vehicle uses both diesel and non-diesel fuel? Some cars and trucks, motorcycles, helicopters, airplanes, and spacecraft. Microscopes, telescopes, lasers, imaging and navigational equipment. Medical equipment such as X-rays and pacemakers. Scientific equipment such as pressure gauges, spectrometers, and similar. It's kind of medium technology stuff. Like, it's not the most high-tech stuff. Industrial equipment, or industrial like manufacturing equipment, and medium tech products is what they're putting tariffs on. I mean, Trump also talked about things of strategic importance, like as one of the rationales for tariffing this stuff. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I guess the tariffs are meant to reduce the import of technology products from China to maybe encourage the development of local middle technology machinery. Like not really high technology machinery, but middle technology machinery. Like it's not the most cutting edge stuff, but it's kind of mid-grade stuff. But if this stuff becomes more expensive, then American manufacturers are going to have to pay the price. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let's say they don't find... Actually, no. Wouldn't Trump then import this stuff from Europe? Doesn't Europe also make this stuff? Wait a minute. No, Europe makes this stuff. The Europeans make stuff like medical equipment and scientific equipment and engine parts and electronics and machinery. So instead of buying like Chinese machinery, they'll buy German machinery or something. Doesn't that just... Wait a minute. This is only tariffs against China. And Trump doesn't put tariffs on Chinese steel and aluminium. So what's gonna happen is the Americans will stop importing steel and aluminium from Europe and Canada and instead import it from China. and then the Americans will stop importing technology goods from China, or technology like manufacturing heavy machinery from China, and then import them from Europe instead. So it doesn't actually help America in any way, does it? I'm just gonna cut straight through here, I think. Or I'm cutting straight through here. Because there's no tariffs on like German machinery, for example, and there's no tariffs on Chinese steel and aluminium, Trump's tariffs against China, Europe, and Canada doesn't actually do anything. It literally doesn't do anything, because they just switch around and everything continues as before. Alright, let's look at the tariffs that China put on the US, and this is gonna be an interesting and a big list. Oh man, this looks disastrous for the US, guys. The more I look at this in detail, the more disastrous it looks for the US. Alright, Chinese tariffs on the US. We're looking at fresh or cold boned pig forelegs, hindquarters, and their meat, so pork. Other fresh or cold pork. Frozen whole head and half pork. Frozen pork liver. Frozen pork chops, and aluminium scrap. Aluminium scrap? Tariffs on aluminium scrap going into... Okay, so like pork. I guess Chinese pork is fine. We don't need American pork. Aluminium scrap. Why tariffs on aluminium scrap into China? Unless China already has too much aluminium. And then tariffs on coconuts, Brazilian nuts, cashews, almonds, hazelnuts, chestnuts, pistachios, macadamia nuts, pine nuts, other fresh or dried nuts, bananas, dates, figs, pineapple, avocado, guava, mango, mangosteen, orange, other citrus, more orange, grapefruit, lemon, citrus fruit, grapes, raisins, watermelon, cantaloupe, papaya, apples, pears, cherries, peaches, plums, strawberries, raspberries, cranberry, kiwi fruit, durian, persimmon, lychee. It just goes on and on and on. Fruits and fruits and nuts, preserved, frozen, apricots, dried apples, dates. Alright, so fruit. American fruit is getting tariffed. Okay, I guess I should step up here. Which side is this? This is the other side. So American fruit are getting tariffed, and then wine, sparkling wine, alcohol beverages. But I mean, wine, I guess China can just import from Europe. If they don't get them from America. So you switch from drinking American wine to European wine is basically what's going on. And grape juice wine, modified ethanol and other alcohols of any concentration. Ginseng, stainless steel pipe used for oil or gas drilling. So all three sets of tariffs from Europe, Canada, and China, they're all targeting American agriculture. So farmers are getting screwed. Completely screwed. And this is what we were saying earlier, or Q was saying earlier, about targeting Trump voters. And then moving to the other tariffs. So an additional list: soybean, corn, corn flour, uncombed cotton, cotton linters, sorghum, uncombed cotton, distilling residues, wheat, beef, like frozen beef, fresh beef, boneless beef, etc. Cranberries. Hey, Q needs to start exporting cranberries to China. Alright, cranberries, orange juice, whiskey, tobacco, cigar, cigarettes, substitutes, other tobacco for smoking, more tobacco, SUVs. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1.5 liter vehicles with discharge capacity less than 2 liters. I don't know what that means. I mean, certain types of cars, basically. Internal combustion engine vehicles. And there's a whole list of them. Basically all sorts of cars. American cars. But this is fine, because this just means that China will buy less American cars and buy more European cars, right? Or even more Japanese cars. Vehicles, trucks, propane, primary shaped polycarbonate. Huh. Catalysts with precious metals and their compounds as actives. So this is basically fuel cells. Diagnostic or experimental reagents attached to backings, except for goods of tariff. What does that mean? Fuel cells? Chemical products and preparations for the chemical industry. and related industries not listed elsewhere. Wait a minute. Earlier, the American tariffs were on Chinese. These were not chemical industry products. I mean, they were cardboard and other things. Hold on, who else tariffed American chemicals? Was it Europe? Anyway, let me just go on with the Chinese list. There's a whole bunch of chemicals, but I don't know enough about my chemistry to see what exactly this stuff is for. They're listing a whole lot of is this fertilizer? Like, what is this stuff? HCH. Other carrier catalysts, other polyester. The American chemical industry, why would they be targeted? Polyethylene. Reaction initiators and accelerators are not specified elsewhere. These are chemical catalysts. Why would China tariff American chemical catalysts? Because the Chinese want to develop their chemicals industry? Plastic products. Self-adhesive plastic plate sheets, films, and other materials. Alternatively, China just wants less plastic. They just don't want plastic anymore. Maybe there's that. Cellulose acetate. Vinyl polymer plate sheets and tapes. And then light aircraft. Lubricants containing oil. Interesting. Like, there's a whole bunch of chemicals that the Chinese don't want anymore. And also light aircraft. Okay, so this track I think is marked out. But there's still a couple of junctions here that we haven't figured out yet. Maybe I should turn this into a junction. And then put like a junction here. Alright, let me also put a line through here, although I don't really know how to do the track here. Okay, so after going through the list of tariffs in detail, and I'm sure everybody's real interested in a specific line-by-line analysis of tariffs, but it looks like China, Europe, and Canada have basically coordinated their tariffs. I don't know if it's on purpose or if it just so happens that they all have the same idea. But they've coordinated their tariffs to, like, destroy the American economy. I mean, let's not beat about the bush here. Some of these actions are pretty brutal.